Hello everyone, welcome to another X-Wing video. I've decided I'm going to try and do some updates on the lists I've been flying and just let you all know, because I've actually got to play some X-Wing recently and hopefully I'll be able to play the game a little bit more. I'm trying to make the time and actually get all of this stuff on the table and just have some fun with it. So I've gone through, I played in a Hangar Bay event, just in one of the guys' basements. Thanks Clay for inviting me round. There was 8 people there, so we played 3 rounds of Swiss and in a Hangar Bay format, so it's 2 different lists and you get to pick between which one you're going to use in each game. And I also played a game on Vassal, helping a guy test a list for one of the open series that was just held over in Germany, I think it was. So the first list I played on Vassal, and this was played against, he was running Fenrau, a Manaroo and a contracted scout, and he wanted to test against something which he thought would be strong against Fen. So I threw this together. I wanted to try and do the Vader Gunner. Determination is a bit of a nod towards the Kylo Ren shenanigans that have been going on recently. Rebel Captive, I think, is a decent upgrade, and that gave me the points to put into expertise on Ryad, because then I could have focus evade for my action to be defensively turtled and still get some modifiers on the attack, or I can go fully offensive, and it still opens up my dial a little bit more than having to have that restrictive K turning style. So that was the theory behind it. I didn't expect it to be massively powerful, but it's good against what it's really good against, and then it drops off against certain types of lists. But yeah, I put it on the table, and Rack's pretty, anyone who's flown this style of Rack with Gunner Vader knows it's all about managing the actual resources on your Decimator. Very rarely are you not going to give up any points in this list. Pardon me. But it was pretty interesting. Engine is a godsend. I still can't fly with Decimator for Toffee, just so bad. I miss that hard one. I always forget that it's not there, and just the greens being on the 2s and the 3, it always throws me off. But I've only flown a Decimator maybe a handful of times now, so just a bit more practice, and I think this list could creep up in power level for me playing it anyway. The ion bomb is pretty strong. I found it invaluable in one of my games with the list, just to let me control anyone who's trying to chase a Decimator. You can really help to get yourself away, stuff like that. Engine is strong against anything that's flying before you. You get to do your large base ship dodginess. And then the only things I might try and swap around is if I was going for this type of build, I might try and get an engine onto Ryad instead, but I feel like it's probably better suited onto Shuranu. But it's a good list. I mean, Ryad's strong, we all know what she's capable of. This build is just as susceptible to stress control, because obviously it shuts down your expertise, but I feel like having that dial open more is worth it, worth the extra point over push the limits. But we'll see. It's more an offensive upgrades. And the way I played this list was, if you don't really fly around together, you definitely want to try and drag people after one ship or the other, and know when to break the Decimator off, or when to Vader. And I'd normally Vader pretty aggressively with it in the early game, depending on what ships I'm facing. Like the 2 lists I've flown against recently were the Fen one, and then I played in the tournament, the final table, so I'll leave that one. We'll go on to the other list that I've been flying, I suppose. You can tell I've not really scripted this. I wanted it to be more ad-libbed. And this is the other list I've been flying. So I've been talking a lot recently about the state of the game and how the power of different ships is affecting things. And I wanted to see if I could put into practice what I've been saying about trying to dominate the activation phase, as it were. It's not necessarily dominating it through action economy, but more through controlling the space on the table, how your opponent can react to you, what they want to do. And that's what this list is all about. It doesn't play like a standard X-Wing list. It's not designed to just joust you and do a massive amount of damage. There's no real alpha strike in it. It's just consistent. It pumps out the damage it pumps out pretty consistently. But it has answers to different things that all rely upon being able to outfly your opponent and position the bump master using that EMP device, getting anti-pursuit lasers, the order in which you fire for your hotshot co-pilot. Trick shot I've not really used, if I'm honest. Pardon me. Yeah, trick shot I never really managed to trigger. Sorry. And then Torquil Mux, I feel like fits into this list a lot better than Paylob would. It keeps synergy with the PS3 for the contracted scout, helps you lower a threat to 0, and it's not always the threat that I'm trying to kill that I'll lower to 0. It's the one that's going to be the most threatening to my ship, so it normally gets me 2 or 3 extra shots per game out of something. Especially if it is like you're trading with someone, you can often force them to spend tokens that would have been helping them more offensively. And I played 2 games with this list, so we moved on from the Vassal game, which it was pretty interesting. I managed to take down Fenrau with Ryad after he'd taken out the Decimator, so he only had Manaru left against a 2 health Ryad. And he decided he wanted to call it there. He'd seen enough. So I don't really consider that a proper game anyway, but it was an experience with a list for me. And then I went into the Hangar Bay event on Friday night, and I played this list in my first 2 games. And the first one was against a bomb-dropping Death Rain and some TIE Strikers and a Phantom. And there was a lot of firepower, and obviously he had the bombs to control where I could move as well. And I decided I wanted to fly this into it just to see how difficult it was going to be. And it was a really good game, really close. Went back and forth a few times. Liam's green dice were on form. I don't think my TLTs did more than 1 hit for the vast majority of the game. But some decent positioning. Bumpmaster just getting in the way of the strikers and forcing him to break off, and him having to spread a little bit of damage around. It was really good. I think the bombs were feast or famine for him. He only had prox mines, and I rolled either hit crit or all blanks, so it was really spikes of damage. So it could have been more beneficial if that had been spread out across my list, I suppose. But it was good fun. I managed to eke that one out. I think it ended up 100 to 87. Really, really close. I had the Jump Master left and killed his I think it was the last striker. Oh no, it would have been, I killed Death Rain, something like that. Yeah, I took out the last ship and still had 2 hull left on the contracted scout, so it was pretty good. Then I flew this list against Nick, who was running 2 Rebel TIE Fighters, a Poe and a Gamma, which was really good to see Gamma on the table. And he had Captain Rex just naked and Ahsoka with no captured TIE. She was just there to pass out the actions and be another annoying TIE fighter. So she did have Sabine's Masterpiece and Jin crew, so that she could get focus tokens and then pass out and still have modified shots herself. So it was interesting, but I got I got what I thought was really, really good bumps in. and forced Gamma to bump the contracted scout, Ahsoka to bump into the back of Gamma. Captain Rex was out just at range 1 of the Bumpmaster, but in with the rest of my list to shoot at him. And Poe came across and also had the contracted scout at range 1. So Scout shoots at Poe to strip his focus token with Hotshot Co-Pilot after reducing him to 0. But I think, how did that work? It was, I think Poe had an unmodified shot and got 4 hits and a crit, and Ahsoka had an unmodified shot and got 2 hits and a crit. Yeah, sorry, no, it would have been 3 hits and a crit, 2 hits and a crit, and yeah. So the naked dice from Nick were amazingly good. I do hate that. I always talk about it in banter with people. There's nothing more boring than the X-Wing stories you normally get told, especially if you're not there to actually see the game. I enjoy talking about the relative positioning of ships, but when it comes down to, so he rolled his 4 dice and got hit, crit, and I rolled my evade dice and got 1 evade and no other evade. It just seems so boring, and I'm just doing it now, and it's really frustrating. So I'm going to try and get back into manoeuvring on the game and the actual interesting parts of it. So I then EMP device everything. So Poe bumps into Ahsoka, Ahsoka bumps into Gamma, Gamma's still on the Bumpmaster, Bumpmaster didn't move, Rex glides forward, and I think I've got it. It's awesome. I've got this massive kill zone set up. Everyone shoots. I put a lot of damage onto Poe, splash a little bit of damage onto Ahsoka. Don't bother shooting Gamma because he's at range 1 of everything, and it's just like a stupid number of dice. So then we break off after that round because he explodes the Jumpmaster with more naked dice, and I'm now trying to trap him with Hawks. So I mean, you can see the dials for the Hawks here, you know, a really, really powerful dial with all that repositioning. So I'm going through trying to get it around everywhere, and it's just not working. He's sniping here, and luckily it's just about still in the game. He manages to kill the Spice Runner, goes down because obviously Greedo's a bit of a threat in this list. The Contracted Scout's already dead. Poe's running around with 1 health, but doesn't have regen, and I've got Captain Rex dead at this point. I'm chasing Ahsoka, managed to go, I joust with Torkil into into Poe, knowing full well that I can't actually keep him outside of range 1, so I just need to get him in arc, and we get Poe with the primary shot from the Hawk, which was good. I managed to kill Poe, and then it's my 2 ships chasing down an undamaged Gamma, and I think he hit a rock or something, so he had 3 hits left on him. But we danced around. Luckily, I've got the quad jumper on 1 health left, and Torkil's on like 1 health as well, and I'm just trying to make sure he can never shoot at anything until I can kill him. And finally managed to get there, and the quad jumper manages to push the extra damage through, and yeah, dying to a quad jumper is always embarrassing. In the games for this list, Ketsu's not really been that relevant. I forced some really bad maneuvers from Poe because he had to get out of arc and range 2. So it's hard to say, because I didn't kill Poe with the shots where he only had 1 agility. I rolled some pretty bad dice on that round. It didn't matter that it carried over, because then he got to break off the next round and not get shot anyway. So I don't know, had it actually worked, it's hard to say if I need to keep Ketsu or change it out for something else, but I don't really know what I would be looking to change. Intel Agent I like and might consider swapping Intel onto the Jakku Gunrunner, which opens up a crew slot on Torquil, but I don't know that there's anything better. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know that there's a better 1-point crew for this style of list anyway. I definitely really like Hotshot Copilot, especially in this list, because it makes everything something that you need to worry about. Even the stupid Spice Runner has got Greedo on it, so it's handing out crits all the time, and it's just it feels like my opponents struggle to pick the target to shoot at, because everything's just annoying. Nothing's really good, but it's just annoying. And it does control a lot of the table. You've got those two big bubbles for the TLTs. A Jakku Gunrunner will normally sit around the middle of the two of them to try and be able to control, making sure you can get shots with both TLTs by barrel rolling your opponent in the other direction, so it is never in a donut hole. And then the Scout is just annoying. It's 33 points, so it's relatively expensive compared to the rest of my list, especially because of its lackluster damage output, but it just does work. Hotshot Copilot EMP device have been awesome. Anti-pursuit lasers never hit for me. I could drop them and I don't think I'd notice, because I never get hits with it. It doesn't really do anything. But it feels good. I really enjoy flying it. It's hard to describe because it doesn't, to me anyway, doesn't fit the conventions of the type of list people are playing at the moment. But I'd advise you just give it a try, see what you think, and there's different ways of doing it. Obviously you can change around. If you don't want the anti-pursuit lasers, you could drop the Spice Runner into being a Y-Wing. You could, I know one of the guys who runs this type of list does swerves by a BTL'd Y-Wing with TLT to get 3 shots around. Personally, I think I prefer having the range bubble for the 360 shots, and they can cover each other. But I don't know, see what you think. This is the one I had most fun flying. Then we go into a final round where I won both my games. So this one is winner takes all, and I'm flying against what was it? Palpatine on the Upsilon shuttle with fire control system, Omega Leader, and Inquisitor. And I picked this list to go into it. The other choice was 2 Upsilons and a Decimator. I think I would Decimator and Upsilon, something weird. And I picked this one because I was pretty confident I could outfly either list with it. And the game starts really well. I get the positioning I want to drag him through the rock field. So I deployed a tight cluster along the diagonal, giving a big open side on his part of the table. Now I'm going to skirt around and fly into that rounds 5, 6, 7 type thing. And that means that he's got to leave the open table and move into the asteroids to fight me if he wants to be aggressive early. So he swings a Upsilon down one side. I'm going away from it, and he's bringing Omega Leader and Inquisitor slowly towards me. And then I get the shot. He's not target locked. He took the initiative to be able to shoot first. So I think that might have been his only real mistake in the game. I would have let me have initiative to make establishing the target lock with Omega Leader easier. But irrelevant really. He manages to shoot at Ryad, doesn't do anything, so it's long range. Then Rack shoots. I gunner and Vader through Omega Leader pretty quickly. So Omega Leader's dead in like the second round of shooting. And I've just lost 4 shields on Rack. But then he manages to squeak a crit through, and it turns out to be the take a stress. I planned my move out as a 3 bank around this rock I'd placed, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to keep the stress, but I want to come around this rock, and I drop it down to a 2, and that's cocked, man. It, like, millimeter, the corner is just touching it. I'm like, I should have fucking kept the stress. And that puts me into, I've got Inquisitor at range 1 with Ryad, target locked, and then Rack would have been a range 2 shot, obviously out of arc, but target locked as well. And I don't get to shoot with Rack, so I can't do basically strip some tokens, Vader twice to get rid of shields, and then pump damage in, hopefully with Ryad. I only get a 1 shot, do no damage, and then the game spirals a little bit. Because I'd committed to trying to put damage onto Inquisitor, I've got a choice now. I either accept that he's going to get to kill Rack because of his position, or I drop the Ion Bomb, ruin his position and Ryad's position, but Rack gets to come round behind the shuttle, and hopefully gives me a bit more time to try and redo this approach without the shuttle being in the fight. So I drop the Ion Bomb, and basically it gives me time to reset, but he manages to get, just the way it all works out, he's brought the shuttle around, and then I have to commit to either completely ignoring Inquisitor and focusing on the shuttle, or just trying to finish off the Inquisitor. And I decide to commit really hard onto Inquisitor, and it doesn't work. I get vaporized, I blank out on my attack, on my defense die, and just Ryad goes down. Obviously not having pulp makes pulp defenders not quite pulp defenders, so she goes down, and then it's Rack versus the world. I get some really good flying. I mean, the game almost goes to time with Rack on 3 hull, because he just can't get shots on me, which again, he gave himself the initiative, so I think it gave me the opportunity to outfly, but the dice are just fine with Palpatine and auto thrusters, stuff like that. It's highly unlikely that I'm going to take the game, but I'm just waiting for that point where I can actually gunner, where I can Vader to get that crit onto his hull, and it never comes. I never get a shield off him to be able to Vader onto a hull, and he finally catches me. And with the shuttle, I think it was just at range 3, like we had to drop the template in, and a really, really good game actually. Learned a lot about flying the list. Definitely should have either done a 2 straight to clear stress and then gone around the rock next turn, or left the 3 bank in and kept the stress. That's mistake number 1. Once I'd made that mistake, I should have turned onto a shuttle and tried to remove pulp from the game, because even if the Inquisitor's trying to chase the Decimator, he won't catch me and be able to push the limits, and I've got Rebel Captive, and at that point I had enough hull where I can actually take a couple of rounds of shooting from the Inquisitor, because his damage output isn't massive anyway. So a couple of bad choices, which inexperience for flying a Decimator, and just stupid moves. But yeah, I think this list has got legs. It does decently well against the things that are supposed to be hard matchups for a 2-ship list. Obviously, Kylo Ren's, I'll show you a dark side, doesn't do anything, which is one of the really bad matchups for 2-ship lists at the moment. Ryad, expertise, you don't have to do it. You can change this 36 points you can spend on pretty much anything. I mean, you could go extra munitions to get a second Ion Bomb and then do something else. You know, there's ways and means of spending the points better. I don't know that I would go to Duke necessarily on Ryad. I do like having being able to get full modified shots or token up, but it's definitely making sure you pick the right option at the right time. Yeah, there's ways and means of doing something a little bit different. Rack build I'm really happy with. I definitely like this combination. If I was going to take a non-defender ship that would free up more points, I would like to have extra munitions for that second proton bomb. Ion bomb, sorry, is the only thing I can think of that I would change. There's arguments for maybe a Mara over Rebel Captive, but I prefer Rebel Captive because it just helps more people have to shoot it, and someone is always going to shoot it, whereas in Mara you might not necessarily want to be as aggressive to get Mara Jade stress to trigger. So that's my thinking there. But yeah, that's both the lists, and I've been talking for like 25 minutes now, so hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Sorry it got into a bit of I rode this, he rode that type stuff. If you enjoy that, sorry, that's just not me. And yeah, we'll go from there. And thanks a lot for watching, everyone. If you like these kind of what I've been doing and why I've been doing it, more vlog style videos I suppose, let me know, might leave some comments, tell me what you've been flying. The Discord server has actually picked up a little bit now. There's actually been back and forth between a few of us who are on there, so make sure you join that. I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes and the video description. And yeah, I'm trying to get people together to do a recording again for the Decimator podcast, get that up to date. People who enjoy the Nova Squadron radio, we should be up to date. We had, I think, episode 63 should have just come out. 64 is done already. 65 is all edited and is just waiting to get the commercials and stuff that we do inserted into it. So that should be out, hopefully all three out this week. Then that's back to normal recording schedule. And yeah, I've got plans for the Should I Fly It list for this week already. I feel pretty organised. I've got things I want to record and talk about. So feel like I'm back and I'm enjoying myself again. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.